Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of That Happened
Yeah.
podcast. I am Evan Botsky, joined, of course, by
Harrison McCrate.
And this week we are going to be talking about the Chief Mauser of the Cabinet Office of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. But first things first, some current events going on, so there's not many. Today is recording date of the 20th of February of 2021, and so the main story in the news right now is that Texas Senator Ted Cruz was flying to Cancun, Mexico, while there were frigid conditions in Texas that have caused a lot of people's power and utilities to stop working. And so he was under public pressure, forced to fly back home to Texas. Not much going on in the state of Ohio currently, so we are just going to move on for now. And with that being said, Harrison, what is a Chief Mauser?
So Chief Mauser is an interesting government position.
Mm-hmm. You might say it's prestigious, even.
It might be prestigious. It just might be. Now,
considering the fact that no man has ever held this position.
Nope, no man.
Funnily enough, no woman has ever held this position. And nobody of any other gender preference has held this position. And that is because, I like how I asked you to describe this.
Now you're going with it.
See,
okay.
I got a little excited. You see.
You got really excited about the whole, no humans have done this before.
Well, you see, it is a cat. It is a cat that sits in 10 Downing Street and hunts for mice. Currently, so you see, we found this after it turns out that the incumbent Chief Mauser of the Cabinet Office of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
You're just going to say the whole title every single time, aren't you?
Put some respect on their name.
Look, it's a very respectable position held by a long lineage of really great cats.
Yeah.
And we should respect them for it.
Of course. That's what I'm trying to do, whereas you're trying to sit here and get me to disrespect them.
Oh, I'm the one who's disrespectful?
Yes, because you're like, oh, well, you're going to say their entire title?
Yeah, because you're...
And I'm not going to.
Okay.
But I'm going to pretend that I will, to be snarky.
You're good. Snarky.
So, eat that. But yeah, so the Chief Mauser sits in 10 Downing Street and kind of does what you think it would do and hunts mice in the Prime Minister's chill place, essentially.
It's his house. You can say it.
His chill place.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess you could call someone's house a chill place.
Yeah, it is, because that's where you go home to chill.
You go home and chill in a chill place. That's how it works.
Exactly. You don't go home. You just go
to the chill place.
place.
I'm never going to call a home again. I'm just like, all right, I'll see you at the chill place, honey.
You know what I'm
right?
You know what kind of vibes I'm getting right now?
What?
I'm getting some real boss baby vibes from that. That is a reference nobody will get.
Nope.
And that's part.
No, I'm gonna continue this conversation now.
Yes.
So, the Chief Mauser of 10 Downing Street has been a position that has been open for a pretty long period of time, I would say.
What, the 1500s?
Not the 1500s. It was under King Henry VIII. Reportedly, he was the first one to have a Chief Mauser. Mm-hmm. But official records don't exist of it. Okay. All we really know is that King Henry VIII's really close advisor really liked cats. And he just had a cat around him at all times. So that's basically where the mythology of the Chief Mauser comes from.
I like how I said, oh yeah, the 1500s?
Yeah, the 1500s.
And you're like, no, King Henry VIII. You do know when King Henry VIII served, right?
Was he actually the 1500s?
Yes. 1491 to, I believe,
1491?
Yeah. 1491 to 1547.
That's weird.
When he was alive.
I'm glad you looked that up because honestly,
he was King of England from 1509 until he died.
I always thought he served later, like sometime during the 1600s.
Nope, 1500s, and that is when the cat first entered the chill place.
Exactly, the chill place known as 10 Downing Street, where the Prime Minister does his chillin'.
But yeah, so the first the records that we actually do have of the Mausers that started 1923,
24,
24, okay. And who was the first one?
So essentially, his name was Rufus of England, but his nickname was Treasury Bill.
Right. Because, of course, Rufus, Treasury Bill,
Treasury Bill. Rufus, Bill, those are names that are definitely the same.
Of course. Watch them actually be like nicknames, and we're sitting here looking like a bunch
we would look like complete
jackasses.
idiots. Yeah,
I like we finally get somebody who isn't a friend to listen to
yeah,
this
and their name is Rufus,
and they go by Bill.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Rufus, but you can call me Bill. That's a normal name that us Rufuses go by.
And they're like,
Bill.
and they're just like, these dickheads.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
But yeah, no. So so Treasury Bill was the first one, and then proceed to tell us the rest.
So after Treasury Bill,
Yeah.
we began
Also known as Rufus.
Well, also known as Rufus.
Rufus of England, specifically.
Yes. We move on to Peter.
Yes.
The first.
First of his name.
First of his name.
Certainly not the last.
An interesting note about this. These Chief Mausers serve under a lot of different administrations. So it's not like...
It's not like when one prime minister leaves, the cat goes with them.
Exactly. Cats serve under multiple prime ministers. Like, for example, Peter served under 5 different prime ministers. Served from 1929 to 1946. Served through the Second World War, of course.
Do you mean, like, of course, like, because, like, that's a time period, or, like, of course, like, yeah, that'd be expected of somebody
Of course.
stature?
Peter would most definitely have served on the battlefield.
Like, I expected better of him.
But Peter the First, of his name.
Yes, of course.
After that...
As established.
Who do we have next?
Gee, I wonder who could come next after Peter the First.
It's interesting because...
Of his name.
So Peter the First was listed as, like, the only Chief Mauser.
Yes.
But there are other, like, Chief Mausers, I guess, listed here?
Lesser Mausers?
I guess.
See,
like
there
was...
Mauser, I keep thinking, like, the German gun.
Whenever I hear Mauser, I think of Bowser. Like the Mario villain.
I guess that shows the difference between us.
Yeah, I think of normal things.
And I think of guns.
Yeah. That's my point. Exactly. Alright, I'm gonna continue. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep going.
Anyway, so this podcast is now hosted by me.
Yeah.
You see, because in a fight between a Bowser and a fucking gun,
Bowser would win. It's a giant turtle who breathes fire.
You see the problem, though, Harrison.
Metal burns.
You see the problem, though.
What, is the gun being welled by someone?
No, Bowser is not fucking real. A gun is. I win. Moving on. Who is the next Chief Mauser?
We're not done with this. We're gonna talk about this later.
You'll forget.
There's two other ones, but they aren't really.
Like,
they weren't Chief Mausers.
They were just, like, around the area, or what?
I guess they were just underlings of the original Peter.
The original Peter, OP.
But there's a bunch of other Chief Mausers, like, for example, Peter II, of his name, who served from 1946 to 1947. I don't know. Do you know anything about Peter II?
No, not really. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, that's a year of service. Most Chief Mausers don't die on the job.
No.
Most Chief Mausers
just
retire
after a few years.
Exactly. They serve for a certain amount of time and then they retire.
Larry is actually kind of unusual. Because he's been serving for 10 years. Like that's
not super crazy. I mean, Peter served for what is this? 15
Well,
16,
yeah,
17
but I'm
years?
saying, like, when you compare it to the other ones, which we'll get to, it's not, like, exorbitantly, like, you know, out of there. But, I'm saying...
I'm scrolling through here. There's a lot of cats that have served for, like, 9, 10 years. It's really... Larry's not that special in that case.
So it's more like the average?
I guess.
Okay.
Larry is still important because he's, he's the current one.
He is our boy.
In any event, there have been a few other Peters. There's Peter the First, the Second, the Third, and technically
how long did the Third serve?
The Third served from 1947 to 1964.
That's pretty long.
Yeah, served under 2 different Winston Churchill terms. So that's kind of interesting,
That's awesome.
That's awesome. But then in 1964 to about 1976, that's when the first female became the Chief Mauser, of course.
So we were having a debate over how to pronounce her name. So it's spelled Peta.
Yeah, it's a... I think it's Peta.
Yeah, but I've always seen that name pronounced as PETA.
I understand, but when I was doing
Do you
my
think
own...
maybe, like, if it is pronounced as PETA, and I know your videos, your little YouTube videos that you were watching pronounced it PETA, but, like, I don't trust YouTubers.
Oh, you don't trust YouTubers?
I don't trust YouTubers.
Oh, so who are your viewers going to trust? Us?
Me.
Oh, why are they going to trust you?
So, the reason why I think that it's, but yeah, I think what if they called her PETA, though? Because...
Wow, that's... Yeah, why...
okay, so when did the third stop serving? What year?
The third stopped serving in 1964.
And when did Peter the First start serving?
29.
Yeah, so they'd been calling the cat in the office just Peter for, 50 years?
That's a full Sims term, yeah. It's not 50 years, it's a little under 30, 34.
Right, okay.
But yeah, I mean, your point's fair. So, I think it's, pizza. I'm screwing it up now. I don't even...
Well, because I think they were like, let's just keep some consistency. So we're just going to say I'm right. And you are
great.
wrong.
Let's say you're right. That's fine. That's fine. But after PETA, we got Wilberforce. Wilberforce was a pretty important... Not really. That's a lie. That's a lie. But... let's just get to the good stuff. Let's get to Humphrey. I want to talk about Humphrey.
Yeah, I do too. So, Humphrey is interesting because, as Harrison mentioned, Humphrey. Amazing name for a cat.
Yeah, great name. Humphrey.
Humphrey was served under Margaret Thatcher and Tony Blair.
And John Major. Can't believe you forgot John Major.
Well, yes, but this is significant for a reason.
I know. Because Tony Blair is the most important of this one.
Because a researcher did a study basically going around and asking Labour voters and Conservative voters and telling them either, hey, this cat in the Prime Minister's office was Margaret Thatcher's cat. What do you think of it? Or he would ask, hey, this cat was Tony Blair's cat. Do you like this cat? And he found that basically depending on your political party, you would either like the cat more or less. Like, if you were a Conservative voter, you really like the cat if she was Thatcher's cat. But if you were a Labour voter, you didn't really care for the cat if it was Thatcher's cat. Thus, he kind of proved that, no matter, how menial something may be, it always is partisan in some way.
I actually didn't read that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, that actually kind of makes sense based on, how our politics works today.
Yeah, so,
But when it's...
so that's why I was waiting to talk about Humphrey. Why do you want to talk about Humphrey?
Okay, Humphrey has a lot of drama on him because of Tony Blair's wife, whose name is something I'm going to find for you because I definitely knew her name walking into this.
As a side note, while you're looking
totally
for that, though, I've been texting my friends about the cats, and one of my friends is talking to me about Larry now, and he was saying Larry is also lazy and aggressive. Amazing king.
Lazy and aggressive.
Yeah,
it's a king. Sherry. Her name was Sherry. Mm-hmm. Sherry Booth.
What about her, did you say?
Well, so essentially, there was drama because we didn't know whether or not she liked the cat.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
There were a lot of, photo shoots between her and Humphrey to, show the public, yeah, the Blairs love the cats. That's a tradition. It's beautiful. Everyone loves them. Even though, she probably didn't like Humphrey. I mean, if you're not a cat person, you're not a cat person. That's just how it is. And the Chief Mauser is basically just... the cat lives in the house. 10 Downing Street, the cat just lives there.
Yeah, the cat just chills.
The cat just lives in the chill house. That's just how it is. The chill place. But what's interesting about Humphrey is that he was the last Chief Mauser for a pretty long period of time, about a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Until about 2007, when the prime ministership of Gordon Brown brought Sybil to 10 Downing Street.
Finally, a woman cat not named after a man.
Finally. Wait, was Sybil a woman?
Yes, Sybil is a woman's name.
Listen, sometimes I don't know things, and it's okay for me to
Well,
learn.
yeah, I mean, I guess they could name a boy cat. I almost said
Yeah,
name a boy
they-
cat
they
Harrison. No, I would name a boy
They can name a
cat.
boy cat. They can name a woman cat Peter.
Yeah, they
They just have
could.
to change the name.
Yeah, they just had to just shake it up a little bit.
Shake it up, yeah.
No, of course I could name a tomcat. That's the right word for it. Sybil,
But Sybil was in there for about 4 years, I believe. 2007 to 2011.
one term.
2009. My apologies, not 2011. I guess they didn't have a cat for 2 years.
A single-termed cat.
Single
Wow.
term cat.
The economy must have been doing pretty bad.
2007, notoriously great time for the economy.
Yeah, I guess Sybil did the. Was trying to repair the economy.
Yeah, didn't do a great job. In comes Larry. 2011.
King.
Larry, the current holder of the Chief Mauser position.
Yes.
So Larry is an interesting cat
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that I do wonder, because they talk about Larry as if he's like a really lazy cat. Like everyone who I listen to speak about Larry, they're always like, yeah, that guy, he tried, he just isn't good at catching mouse. Or at mice.
Before the mice bit, it kind of sounds like me talking about myself. He tries, he really does.
He just can't catch the mice.
I said before the mice, but
I
yes.
know, it's just funny.
I do also not like mice, so I'm kind of with Larry on that
Can't
one.
catch them.
I really can't, because I don't like them.
Nope.
I respect people who do like mice. I think they are, as a picture, think they're cool. Small rodents. I can't.
I like how you're spilling off all your hot takes about mice today.
Rodents, yeah.
Yeah, just like,
What other hot takes did I have about mice?
I don't know.
You're saying all my hot takes. This isn't
What, do you have any more? Go on, tell me more about your hot takes. I said all of them because most definitely that was it.
I mean, that was it.
Oh, great, okay. But Larry has served under 3 different prime ministers: David Cameron, Theresa May, and, of course, the current Boris Johnson.
And he got us through Brexit.
Congratulations.
Not Boris Johnson, I mean Larry did.
Larry did. Thank
Yeah.
God for Larry.
If Larry wasn't there, I don't know how Brexit would have worked out, man.
Larry's done a lot of fun things in office so far. I really enjoy, like if you look up Larry, the Chief Mauser, you can find a bunch of really cute videos of Larry doing things like sleeping and like sitting at the door begging to go inside, like scratching the door, and a police officer letting him inside. There was this, I think one of my favorite.
He's so lazy that he has to waste taxpayer money getting people to open doors for him. The lazy little shit.
God damn it, Larry!
What an
awful public servant.
So after Larry, however, or when Larry's laziness, it's like Rasputin. It's
yeah,
as more and more people found out about Larry being a lazy dickhead.
Don't call Larry a dickhead.
Well,
you're the one who wants to have respect for the office.
Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't vote for this man.
You didn't vote for... I didn't vote for Larry. I have no qualms with him as a person.
I also don't dislike him. I have respect for the office. However, I'm allowed to criticize the incumbent.
Wasn't old enough to vote for Larry.
I wasn't old enough to vote for Larry. It's funny because I really wouldn't have been.
Yeah, you would.
See,
I'm sorry, it's so funny.
I'm allowed to criticize the Chief Mauser of the Cabinet Office of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Fuck you, I still did it.
Yep, here we go. Do you want to talk about Freya a little bit?
Yeah, well, that's what I was leading to.
I know, go ahead.
Yes, so Larry was being a little lazy, and David Cameron, the Prime Minister at the time, was like, you know what? I got you. You want to sit around and not catch mice for me? Well, I'm gonna replace you. And so he got one of his cabinet members, his cat's named Freya, who was a stray, to come in, and she was really good at being the chief mouse. They didn't fire Larry. It said he got sacked. Like, it said David Cameron sacked him, but he was still around. He was still the mouser. It's just they also brought in Freya.
It would be...
For anyone concerned about the employment status of the cat, they did not actually fire him from the house. Like, he was still there, and he was still listed as the guy that they liked. But
it's kind of like the analogy you made earlier. It's like Tsar Nicholas, and they're just like, bring in Rasputin.
Yeah.
Just make sure just let Rasputin run the country.
Yeah. So he so with Freya though and Larry, they kind of didn't get along that well, and they kind of have a bit of a scuffle in front of 10 Downing Street. And
Larry's had a lot of scuffles.
Yeah, I feel like he's the instigator.
I think it's less that he's the instigator and more the fact that
he's so lazy that everyone just wants to fight him.
No. I mean, yes, but no. Cause
imagine being that lazy that everyone's like, get your ass up. I'm gonna hit you.
Larry's been in a lot of fights, specifically with the foreign minister's cat.
Yes,
because other government buildings in London have cats.
Yes. It's just they're not.
They all have chief Mausers.
Yeah, it's just not.
I mean, they're chief Mausers.
They are chief Mausers.
They're just chief Mausers of different buildings. Like, for example, the Foreign Ministry building, which is across the street from 10 Downing. The cat who was in charge of that area got in a fight with Larry because, cats get very territorial.
Yeah.
And that's normal. So Freya and him working together wasn't really going to work from the start. But Freya was in office. How long was she there?
2 years, 2012 to 2014, I believe.
Okay.
And she only left office because she kept running away, and so her family allowed her to return to the countryside to Rome because she got hit by a car. And she didn't die. And
she survived.
Fine.
She's
fine. She was fine. When I first read it, I was like, oh, Jesus.
We didn't want to talk about a cat dying. Like, that's nah.
Yeah, no, she didn't die. She just got hit by the car.
And she's not retired, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Listen, I'm repeating you.
Well, maybe don't.
It's fine to repeat people. It's legal. It's legal to repeat.
But they let her go, and now Larry has been chilling alone as the resident fat cat for 10 years.
Yeah.
As it was just recently his anniversary, as mentioned, I believe, earlier in this episode.
Right.
Yes.
I think some of my favorite bits are the fact that Larry does do a lot of really funny things.
Such as?
I like the video where Larry is hunting a bird.
Yeah.
The bird's just sitting there. There's camera people all over the place waiting for, I assume, a press conference from the Prime Minister or something, and Larry's just staring at this bird. They just make eye contact, and Larry just goes at the bird. Almost killing it, but the bird gets away.
If you would have just been a little quicker on the draw.
A little quicker. But, anyway, the Chief Mauser isn't supposed to attack birds. The Chief Mauser is only supposed to take care...
the Chief Birder.
Nope, they'd be called the Chief Birder. Yep. The Chief Mauser's job is basically just to get the rodents of the area. Because, they actually... It's a real thing.
Well, yeah, because London was built on, so long ago that it has wooden supports, right?
It's basically, it is a mixture of very modern buildings with very King Henry VIII, 1500s, just not decrepit, but, old buildings. So it makes sense to have a Chief Mauser because, yeah.
Because it's kind of a breeding ground for mice, essentially.
Right. Which, again, isn't bad. It's just good that they have the Chief Mauser.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting side note, because I did my own research on it a little bit, and I know we talked about it earlier, but I just find the idea that cats weren't necessarily domesticated just interesting.
Go ahead and mention it.
Because, so from what I understand, cats and humans have a very beneficial relationship. I don't remember what the biological term for that is. But it's essentially the bird that eats from the crocodile's teeth, but the bird's safe because the crocodile just wants its teeth cleaned. Right?
Yeah.
So, basically the way it worked was that when humans started settling and, growing crops on their own, instead of foraging and hunting, cats kind of just showed up. because these new like grain fields, right, were infested with rodents.
Right.
And cats were like, dude, this is a perfect place to get food.
Yeah,
this is it. Chief, this is it.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes. Do you know that? Please tell me you know the video.
No.
Oh, no.
I don't know that video.
It was just... It was a meme. Or like a while ago, or at least between me and friends it was. I'm referencing an inside joke on a podcast.
That is going to be heard by a bunch of different people.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Also another inside joke.
Oh, we can say that.
Yeah, I mean, that's
just a phrase. That's awesome.
Well, yeah.
It's funny.
Yes.
It's funny. It's whatever.
Anyway.
So I just find the fact that the idea that cats have always just kind of been with us to take care of rodents is still kind of with us today in official government positions.
Yeah, of course. I mean, where else would we put them?
I don't know.
The barn? I wouldn't.
Put cats in the barn?
Yeah, just 3 of them.
Just what?
Anyway,
3 cats in the barn.
No, I refuse. Anyway, as I sit here comfortably in my Garfield shirt, I would like to thank you all for joining us this week. And thank you, and have a great rest of your life until we see you again.
Now, hold on.
What?
I have an idea.
Okay, go ahead. Shoot.
What if... Alright, and hear me out. This is a little weird.
Yes.
What if Ohio had its own Chief Mauser?
You think DeWine would want that?
Governor DeWine might like that. There's a chance.
If he doesn't, I would.
Oh, you would?
I would.
Mr. Governor
Yes.
Botsky?
I will simply show up to Governor DeWine Michael. I will walk up to Michael and I will be like, here is your new Mauser, sir.
Here is a cat.
He will be like, isn't that a gun? And I'm like, no. And I will leave. I will, you know what, Harris? I will do it. I got this.
Yep.
I found the Mauser. I will end it.
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing.
I will do it. It's like the Thanos thing where it's like, fine,
I'll do it myself.
I got it. I'll
Yep.
do it. Thank you. I don't need you anymore. I just have Michael. Why am I calling him Michael?
Why are you calling this cat Michael?
I'm calling
you're calling DeWine
Michael because that's his name.
Because it's Mike.
Yes, but it's just like we refer to officials as DeWine or like their last name, and instead we're going like Michael.
Yeah.
He doesn't even go by Michael. He goes by Mike.
He goes by
Mike. We're overthinking this. Thank you for joining us this week. We hope you've enjoyed this episode about the Chief Mauser of the Cabinet Office of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your life. Until we see you again in the next episode. Cheers.